Hello guys, welcome to a new video here in JS Education. My name is Carlos Santana and this is the video number 14 for the course developing a headless CMS with TypeScript and GraphQL. So let's start. So as always, the first thing we need to do is to run ncu-u to update our packages on frontend and backend. Right now I just need to change this one. Remember that it's better if you copy the versions that you're seeing on my terminal so you can avoid any problems. And then you run npm install. On the back end, we don't have any package to update, so that's great. But we need to install two new packages. So the first one is gonna be npm install d eslin-config-airbnb. And then the second one is gonna be npm install-d eslin-plugin-react. This is to fix the Husky pre-hooks that we did on the last video and was failing the linter on the backend. So, okay. So now, after this, we need to go to backend, source, GraphQL, resolvers, app. And in here, I'm going to change because now we are like implementing ESLint. We are going to get some new errors. So some TypeScript errors, for example. So basically here, we cannot use any more objects. So we're going to change this to be any, since are those parameters that we are not using anymore. And then when I save, because I have the on format save for prettier, is like formatting my code automatically. So we just need to change object for any. Then we go to resolvers users and pretty much we do the same. All the objects are gonna be any now. Go a little bit bigger the font, okay. And this one also any. Okay, we save it. Okay, then on our backend index file, this console, I'm just going to move this comment right before the line of the console, because with this comment ESLint disable next line, we can remove or ignore ESLint rule. In this case, it's no console, which is a warning, but it's just like it's a console that we will have here forever, so I don't see the case to have that warning all the time. Then we need to go to backend source interfaces index. Here, I'm not sure why this line gets here, so we can remove this line. And that's pretty much like everything we need to do here. Okay, so now let's go to our front end, to the file app dashboard components home index. And in here, what we need to do is adding some props to the main layout component after the title. So we are going to say that our main layout is going to display a header, content, footer, and sidebar. We can like customize this part, like we can remove the footer if we want, or the sidebar. For now, it's going to have 4 of them. Right now, I haven't set those props currently, but later we are going to do that. Now we go to share components, layout, main, and inside main, we need to create a new folder called breadcrumbs. And we are going to add like all the files for the layout of the dashboard. Inside, we need to create breadcrumbs.scss. So this is gonna be the style for this. I'm not going to stop too much explaining the style since it's just like a basic thing. But remember that the code is gonna be on the repository, so you can take a look on the styles and see all the necessary change you need to do there. Later, the breadcrumbs, we need to create the index file for this component. So it's like a very easy component. It's just a list that is going to have home. Right now it's a static HTML, but eventually we will use the breadcrumbs to identify in which section we are to stand. But for now it's just mainly for styles. Then on main we need to create another folder called content. Then inside we will create content.scss. I have the styles here. So these are the styles we import or dependencies. We have the content, we use display flex. We have a container and a wrapper. Then our content is going to have an index for the component. Which is going to be this file. We need to import the header and footer that we will create next. We import the styles. The props is receiving header, footer, no wrapper, children, and router, and those with the question mark are optionals. Basically here, if we have header prop, then we render the header. If we have no wrapper, we just pass the container. I mean, if no wrapper is false, means we want the wrapper, right? The container and the wrapper. If no wrapper is true, means it's only with the container without wrapper. So this is gonna change a little bit the styles. And then finally, if we have the footer, we render that component. Okay, talking about footer, we need to create now our folder footer, and then the styles, footer.scss. So this is those are the styles. Footer, we have the width at 97%. We have a content. We have some mixins like for tablet breakpoints, also for mobile. But yeah, it's pretty much what we have here. Basically, it's going to have just a copyright text and it's going to be centered. So then we need to create the index inside footer for the component. Okay. Those are like a very static components, mostly for HTML, just to create the dashboard layout. So this one is just getting the copyright, contentpi.com, the current year. I have some menu there to go to the blog, documentation, contact. Those are links are not ready, but just to like make it look good. Then in our main, we need to create next or header. And then header.scss. So those are the styles basically. And then we need to create the index file for the component. Very simple one. We just have a header with class name header, and then inside we have our breadcrumbs component that we created before. Then in our main layout, we need to import the content component and sidebar. The sidebar we need to create that a little bit later. Then our props is gonna be adding more. Is going to be adding the header, sidebar, content, footer, title. Title was already there, no wrapper, and router. Also, we need to like read all these props here or get it here. Okay. Then basically we just remove the children here, and then we save our sidebar. If we have a sidebar, then we render it. If we have the content, we render the content component with all these props that we saw before, also the router, and then the children. If we don't have content, we just render the children. Then our sidebar folder, we need to create it there, and then a file sidebar.scss. I think this is the most large styles. So let me paste it here. I'm trying to go slow. So basically the sidebar is going to use Flexbox. We have these first options. It's going to be like a very thin sidebar on the left. We will have an isotype, which is going to be the logo of the content PI, and then a list where we are going to have the app icon, and then other options. And we are going to have like a sub menu or something like that to open and close like the sidebar. So yeah, sub options. And then finally on the bottom, we are going to have a profile with the session of the user or the name or whatever. So that's pretty much for the sidebar. Then we need to create the index. Okay, so in this component, we are going to include the app context to get the application. Remember that we have the app ID on the URL, so we need to get the app information. We need to get the stage link from constant links, the new link component, app icon, the logo, the styles. We're going to pass the router as a prop. Then basically this open and set open is to open and close the sidebars, and the sidebar is to specify which sidebar we are going to open. We get the get app by ID data from the app context here. We handle the open. Then basically in the first options, the ISO type, we are going to inject our logo. Then we need to put our app information, basically just the icon, the app icon, but it's going to have a link, a stage link for the application. So we can go back to select another application, for example. Then the next li or list is going to have an on-click to open the modal for models that we will have. And then the other one is a model for content. And those has icons for Font Awesome. So we are using the icon from fogg-ui. Then the third option is going to be the media or the assets. So that part is going to be ready later. And then finally, we will have a logout icon, like to disconnect from the dashboard. Then the profile is gonna like appear the user information. For now, it's like hard coded here, but just for styles. Later we will fix that part. And this is a section to control the sub options, like to hide or show the other sidebar depending on what we select. For now, it's just showing an H2 text, whatever. Later, we will inject some components here to render the actual sidebar that we want. Okay, so that's it. So now we need to run npm run dev on both directories. Okay, so now if we go to localhost/dashboard. Okay, so this view, you already saw it. It's my apps. Now if I click here on the app icon, now I have the link with the ID. And this is our dashboard layout. So basically this part on the top is the header. This part that says home is the content. This part below is the footer with some links here. And the sidebar has the icon of the logo and then the icon of the application. And then we have these models, content, assets, and then logout. So right now, if you click here, it's going to open like another sidebar like this, content and then model. For now, it's changing the URL, so don't worry about that. We are going to fix that in the next video. But this is gonna be the style of the dashboard, and then you can click here on logout, and then you are going to be logout and then ask for login again. So what do you think? Do you like it? So that's it for this video. I don't want to like make it any longer. Remember that if you like those videos, please help me to spread the word and share those videos with your friends or the people that you want that also they learn how to do these things. Subscribe to our channel. That's very important. We are very small right now, but that's it. If you have any question, I invite you to join to our Slack community. The link is on the description. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time and see you in the next video. Bye.